Hi everyone, I'm Debbie Anderson. My husband Larry is standing across the room there. Hang on. And we wanted to say welcome to our house and thank you for coming. Some of you have already heard what we're talking about today. I'm going to present to you today, and for some of you this is brand new. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about how we were introduced to Life Vantage, just very quickly. About 2.5 months ago, I met Isa, and I had known her years ago, but we reconnected recently, and she's the little lady in the kitchen. And Isa was in our med spa, our doctor's office here in Prescott, and she said, "Oh, I'd like to show you a product that I'm involved with." And I said, "Of course, I'll look at it. I'll look at anything." You can imagine that owning a med spa, we have a lot of nutritional supplements and skincare products and such that come across our desk. And so we always look at it because you just never know, right? So I did look at this, sat down with her. She showed me the story of the company, the story of the product. Can you guys hear me?
No.
But you can't hear me when I talk without it?
That's fine.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, we're going to do that then. So again, Isa said, "I'd like to show you some body activator products." And I thought, I've never heard of a body activator. I don't know what that is. I'm thinking it's a supplement. And again, we have lots of supplements that come across our path. And I always look at them, but the question I ask the rep is, what makes this different from the next supplement, the next rep that comes to our desk? And they often have a hard time answering that question. But Isa answered the question. She said, "This is different because it is a body activator. We're activating your body to naturally produce antioxidant or GLP-1, collagen." And my ears perked up and I said, wow, that really is different. It's not a supplement. It's actually doing something naturally. And that sounded wonderful to me. So I paid attention to what she said. I brought the information home to my husband, Larry, who's a pharmacist, and our good friends, Doug and Nancy Rothrock. Doug is a cardiologist here in town. And those guys, they're both kind of science geeks. So they both dug into the clinical studies. And they read that information, and they thought about it, they talked about it, and they said, there is something to this. And candidly, Larry being a pharmacist, he was kind of like, wait, why have I never heard of this? Doug's going, I go to continuing education all the time, and I've never heard of a body activator. Why? And so again, I got Isa in front of them. She shared the information, the science, the products, the business. So that's what we're going to do for you today, is just go through the science of the product, the products themselves, and the business. And you can take what you want from that. Hopefully you'll see the value in the products, and you'll get with the person that brought you here and talk some more about it. Okay? So we're going to start with a videotape that was done in 2005. It was ABC Primetime Investigates. So many of us in this room probably remember that show. There are probably a few of you who don't, the young ones. This was John Quijones, an award-winning journalist. When they heard about this doctor who had discovered or developed this product that could reduce oxidative stress, they really found it kind of hard to believe. So they set out to debunk it on national television. But instead, they were amazed by it. So this is a quick 6-minute video or so that's going to tell you that story.
Whoop.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
1 second. I can see.
Well, it's not science fiction, but science
I know,
possibilities.
There you go.
I know what it is, Isa. Isa, it's because it's hooked into the sound bar.
Oh, okay, good.
You just have to go back.
Here, you want this one?
Too many remotes.
It's flash.
this.
Try.
What about this one? No. Do we have an IT tech in the house?
It's not this.
No, I mean, if you just turn the sound bar off, will it do it?
Want me to play it, Larry?
Your car is blinking.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig.
Dr. McCord, okay.
I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist.
This is a pretty exciting stuff you're finding.
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress, and we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells. But as we get older, some of those toxic radicals overwhelm our enzymes and wreak their havoc. For a long time, scientists thought that antioxidant vitamins like C and E would lower it, but they don't.
As it's turned out in just the last 5 years or so, we see that they're not good enough tools. They're not powerful enough.
But this pill, he says, is powerful enough. In fact, many times more powerful.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment.
Doesn't taste bad.
It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us. Whether that will lead to longer life is still unknown. Experiments to see if mice live longer are about to get underway, but it's a tantalizing theory.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes.
Have you discovered the fountain of youth?
I wouldn't put it that way, but we may have discovered something that will tell us a lot more about how we age, what happens biochemically, and maybe how we can slow it down. So you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
Back to the oxidative stress levels of a child? It sounds too good to be true. Will Protandim work on me?
But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result, my level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Have we turned back the clock? Well, maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed.
Would you suggest I keep taking this supplement?
I would.
And so, ancient Eastern healing and modern Western medicine may soon be working together. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks.
Even mental disease.
Yes,
Depression?
Alzheimer's disease, depression. But we do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
The company that makes Protandim says its tests show the pill, made from ingredients used for centuries, is absolutely safe. But because it's being sold as a nutritional supplement and not a drug, Protandim does not need FDA approval for safety. For more, go to our website at abcnews.com.
So, did you all
You want to get
hear,
an edge on
hear the message, right? That everybody's oxidative stress is lowered with Protandim. Loud and clear, yes. And to bring it back down to that of a toddler or a newborn is amazing. And again, if we can do that, imagine how much healthier and efficient we will be physiologically going forward as we continue to age. It'll be a slower aging process. So with that, what I want to do now is turn it over to Isa Dinerman. And again, Isa is an esthetician here in Prescott. She's been around for a long time. People love her work. She's been working with the products for about 10 years. And so she's got a lot of information to share with you, and we'll just go there.
Thank you. So everybody, can you imagine December of 2005 seeing that air on national television? Did anyone in here see it live? No? Anyway, pretty powerful. So what happened after that aired is that the company got $5 million of orders basically overnight. And you saw in the video, they were a small biotech company at the University of Colorado in Denver, and they had no sales infrastructure. They were not a supplement company, no marketing, all of that. So the sales started coming in, and so did the researchers. Major universities and institutions, which we'll share a few of those with you, contacted the company and wanted to start their own self-funded studies. Did you all see in the video too, they said studies are currently underway to see if this extends lifespan in mice. Did y'all hear that? That was a 10-year federally funded study, and that was released in 2015, and it did show that it increased that lifespan in mice by 7%, which equates to 5 human years. And so that's powerful. And then Marisa just reminded me that that they were half dosing the mice. The dosage was incorrect. So what could we all do? We're not looking to live longer necessarily, but we're looking to have more life in the years that we do have and to be healthy. So that's the story of our company. There's a story to be told. This product that took them about 8 months' time, they did get it on store shelves. It was in Walgreens, GNC, Rite Aid. And the sales were terrible. It was being sold next to inexpensive antioxidants. It's not an antioxidant, it's an activator. And so the company went to a board of directors in about 2009 and said, what do? We had this incredible third-party validation on national television. We have peer-reviewed research. How do we get the sales to be commensurate with that? And they said, take this to direct sales. People need to see the ABC, and they need to understand what oxidative stress is. And that's what we did. And so 2010 was our first year in that model, and we hit about 10 million that year, and we've just been increasing significantly ever since. So oxidative stress is not a disease, as you heard Dr. McCord say, just like aging isn't a disease, but it is at the center of all disease processes, and it affects every system of the body, the immune system, the heart. We're going to hear from Dr. Rothrock in a moment here. You know, our brain, all of that. And currently on PubMed.gov, there's over 400,000 studies on oxidative stress. It's just growing each day because people realize that this is tied to everything. So when you go to PubMed.gov, this is where doctors go. This is where our peer-reviewed research lives. And so if you want to know more about the specific studies from Virginia Commonwealth or the American Heart Association or the National Institute of Aging, you can go there and type in Protandim. That's pretty powerful for a branded product to be on there with all of that research. You can also go to PubMed and type in oxidative stress and a certain condition. If you're wondering, will this help with, you know, a certain condition? So that's what we're doing here, is connecting the dots, because we don't claim to treat, cure, or mitigate any issues in the body, but we can say that when cells are performing well, we're helping the body to function optimally. So our company, LifeVantage, is publicly traded. We're on the NASDAQ. We are a debt-free company. We're BSCG approved. We have lots of professional athletes that use our products. And we have, like we just said, over 30 peer-reviewed published studies, 10 US patents, 6 international patents, and we were just featured most recently in Newsweek and Forbes magazine as a life science company to watch. Pretty cool. So what happens when first of all, we all have oxidative stress. Even if you're super healthy in the room, the healthiest person in here has it. We have it just from breathing, just from living. But when we have excessive amounts of it, this is what you feel: fatigue, brain fog. Can anyone relate to any of these? Poor sleep, headaches, anxiety. And I like this analogy of the apple. This is what oxidative stress looks like. It's like the rusting of your cells from the inside out. Leaving the apple, those beautiful bananas over on the counter too long, they're going to turn brown. That's oxidation. And so what we're doing is cleaning out the cells. And what's making them oxidize is free radical damage. So that, again, we can't avoid it, but it is accelerated and exacerbated by poor quality of food, poor quality of water, environmental toxins, this thing that's attached to us, right? So it is everywhere, and what we're doing is helping the body to combat this process. So Protandim, as you saw in that ABC, is clinically proven to reduce oxidative stress in the body by 40% in 30 days, 100% of the time in all mammals. Isn't that cool? Something that, so if you're sitting here wondering, I wonder if this would work for me, yes, it will reduce oxidative stress, for sure. Up to 70% in 4 months, and that's pretty powerful. This shows a graph, just speaking to in the ABC when you heard the Dr. McCord say that they could not decipher the blood of an 80-year-old from that of a newborn. That of a newborn, he said on John Quinones' blood. So our diet, this is not a substitute for an antioxidant-rich diet, but we can't eat enough antioxidants in a day to combat the amount of free radicals that we are exposed to. So when our diet is fighting at a 1-to-1 ratio. 1 blueberry fights 1 free radical, right? So you can't eat enough blueberries in a day or enough broccoli to combat that. But when we activate this NRF2 pathway, which is what Protandim does, it is like turning on the fire hose in every room in the house that's on fire instead of throwing a Dixie cup on it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Another great analogy that I heard early on was it's like turning up the dimmer switch, right? When our toxic burden is higher, it's like turning down the lights in the body. You just start to feel kind of sluggish. And so this is like turning that up, and you're turning it on all day long. So you're constantly creating those antioxidants. We're making antioxidants versus trying to supplement them, as Debbie was beautifully saying. So what's in Protandim? It's a simple blend of 5 plants: ashwagandha, bacopa, milk thistle, turmeric, and green tea. Simple, right? If you're thinking, I have all of those in my medicine cabinet, and it's a lot of pills that I take each day, you are probably taking, if you're taking a medicinal dosage of turmeric from Sprouts, let's say, you're probably taking about 100 times the amount that's in 1 Protandim pill. It's trace amounts. It's like eating a salad, but it's the synergy of the 5 plants that flip on that pathway in the body and make each of those herbs 18 times more powerful. Wow. Yeah, pretty cool. So we're reducing oxidative stress by 40% Increasing glutathione by 300%. I know there's a lot of medical professionals in the room. We all know the importance. Glutathione is our master antioxidant, and when it's elevated, you have better recovery. If you are working out, you're feeling better, sleeping better, all of that. We're increasing catalase, 54%. That's huge. That helps a lot with our eyesight. And so we say that it all starts with yellow and we take it to make it. We say it all starts with yellow because Protandim is our little yellow pill. When the cells are healthy, everything else is going to function more optimally. So we also have an activated collagen, which we'll share a little bit about that with you. We activate gut peptides. We can actually activate. You hear a lot of talk about peptides lately. We make those. So with the right combination of ingredients, the synergy, we help our cells to make those. And we activate the brain with that brain drink over there, Axio. So we also have a couple other Protandims, and I'm going to have Dr. Rothrock come on up in just a moment. But we have our Protandim NRF2. I just don't want anyone to be confused. NRF2 is activating the NRF2 pathway, reduces oxidative stress. NRF1 activates our NRF1 pathway, and that's for our mitochondria, our cellular energy. And that's 5 different plants than what's in the NRF2. And then we have Protandim NAD. NAD is like the cleanup crew that comes in, the garbage truck that takes it out. Because when we're detoxifying the cells, we want something to clear it out as well. So when you take all 3 together, it exponentially increases the efficacy of each one. We can share more about that with you. But I would like to turn it over for a moment to Dr. Doug Rothrock. He is we're so blessed to have him here. He's an interventional cardiologist, very successful. He's published doctor here, and he got really excited when Debbie and Larry introduced him and his beautiful wife Nancy to our products. And I'd love for you to just share what you saw, Dr. Doug.
Sure. Can everybody hear me okay? I usually can talk without a microphone. So this was extremely exciting for me. I consider myself an anti-aging physician, and I, for years, have looked at the chemistry and biology of aging. And this came out of the woodwork actually a couple of months ago, and I looked into the studies, and it is amazing really the extent of the studies and the extent of the data backing this up. I'm not sure that in this presentation, for all of you, that you really got the whole idea of what's happening and what's different about Protandim and the NRF2 activator. What we mean by an activator is if you take a vitamin C pill as an antioxidant, it's got to go through your mouth, your stomach, your bloodstream, get into your cells, and it's got to do its job inside the cells. If you remember Linus Pauling, that was one of his big things back in the day. The problem with that is, like the video, only one ascorbic acid neutralizes one free radical inside your cells. You make thousands of free radicals a second inside each cell. So our body evolutionarily has its own defense system to antioxidants because when we burn oxygen in food, we make free radicals. So our body had to have a system on its own to get rid of the free radicals because the free radicals are very dangerous. They're like having little explosions inside your cells. It damages cells, ruins them, kills them. So you have to get rid of all these antioxidants. And so your body has a system to do that, and that's what the NRF2 system is. And that's what was discovered through the research on this. So what Protandim does through these 5 herbal preparations is to activate the genes that make the antioxidants. That's the trick. That's why it's called an activator. So you're genetically turning on your own system. And it can do millions of free radicals a second when you do that. Because you're just boosting up our own system. And it's just an amazing fact that these things do. And we've got multiple published articles now, over 30, some very impressive, that show that the remarkable reduction of inflammation. So the problem with oxidation products is that creates inflammation. And inflammation is the basis for most diseases, including atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries, heart attacks, strokes, arthritis, possibly Alzheimer's and things like that. All sorts of things, pretty much everything. And so the beauty of this product is it activates the genes that produce our own system. totally different than a supplement. And that's what's so exciting about it. In fact, the company has used that as a basis for all of their research. So the NFR1 activator and the NAD also are activators, meaning they activate the genes that make those products inside our body. So the three of them together really work together very well. When you do, so the mitochondria, anybody know what mitochondria is? You know, we throw these terms around and forget whether you know them or not. Mitochondria are the little organelles inside our cells that make energy. That's where the energy comes from. And the number of those mitochondria inside your cells is very variable. If you exercise, you increase the number of them. That's one of the benefits of exercise. So, and when we use NRF1, it increases the number of mitochondria in our cells. Amazing. And the problem with that is, if you increase the number of mitochondria, you increase the number of free radicals, right? So that's actually the problem with intense exercise. It increases free radicals. So it's intense exercise is not particularly good for you, actually. And then NRF1 then increases the mitochondria. That increases free radicals, but we've got protandim in there to get rid of the free radicals that we've increased with. And then we have NAD, which increases the energy availability for the mitochondria. You need NAD to make energy. So all those things work together fantastically. So that's an amazing product too. So I can't say enough about the product. I've been using it for, I don't know, 2 months maybe, and I already feel better. Actually, I just got over a major surgery, and so I'm hoping that it'll help me recover from the surgery. And it was a cancer surgery, so I'm hoping that this also is anti-cancer. So I use it myself, thinking that it's going to help me prevent recurrence of my cancer. So I'm very excited about that as well. Collagen, actually, Issa was going to tell me to talk about collagen here for a minute. Collagen, I'll bet everybody in this room, every woman anyway, has used some collagen product, right?
Yes.
Right? You're right. Well, the problem with collagen products is they don't work at all. It is the biggest ripoff ever. The reason for that is that when you eat a protein, which collagen's a protein, when you eat a protein, it gets digested to its amino acids. So it doesn't matter what the protein is. If it's in your stomach, before you absorb it, you digest it to amino acids. So if you take collagen, same amino acids as if you eat a banana. It doesn't make any difference, and it doesn't go to your skin. There's one non-structural amino acid in collagen called hydroxyproline that is unique to collagen. You get a little bit more of that. So, but it doesn't really help produce collagen. So once again, the company's theory is you get something to activate the genes to actually make your own collagen. And so our collagen is an activator. It activates the genes in your fibroblasts, which are the cells in our skin that make collagen, to make more collagen. And that actually puts collagen in your skin. I've got a little line right here that bothers me for years, and I've actually been on this collagen only for, again, a couple of months, and that line is going away.
Wow.
Very
good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
We can't claim any diseases or anything, but that line's going away.
Not Lyme disease.
That's Lyme disease, not Lyme, but
Yeah,
Lyme.
Lyme disease. So anyway, so I really have become an incredible believer in the product, and and belief is a funny thing. You hear people say, you'll hear doctors say all the time, "Oh, I don't believe in that." Well, this is not a religion. You don't believe in it. The science is behind it. And that's what makes me, as a physician, want to use it and want to recommend it to all you guys, because it has the data behind it. It's not a belief. The data's there. So, thank you.
Holy moly.
Wow. I would also love to just call up briefly Dr. Lisa Parsons. Is this a good time? Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Dr. Lisa and I met about
It's been
8 years?
Yeah, I think so.
About 8 years ago? Yeah. And Dr. Lisa is a functional psychiatrist, and she works for the Amen Clinic, and she also has her own private practice. And when she saw the science of protandem and what this does, she was very intrigued, and she has been since recommending it to her patients. So do you want to share anything?
Yes, so it's very interesting actually. I happened to meet Isa when I was very disillusioned with the field of psychiatry that I took so much time to train into. And it was really frustrating to become disillusioned with something that I put so much energy, so much time, so much money into. And I stepped away from that field completely. I had to walk away from it because I couldn't believe in it the way that I was practicing it at the time, which was someone comes into your office, they talk with you about their symptoms, you prescribe them a medication. So we weren't really looking for the root cause of what a person was going through, no matter what it was. ADHD, bipolar, depression, PTSD, it didn't matter. We just prescribed them the medicine, A to B to C. You follow the algorithm and that's it. And I was, at the time, I don't know if you are all familiar with West Yavapai Guidance Clinic. It's now Polera.
Mm-hmm.
I was their medical director at the time. I was there for 4 years and I had to leave. Because being the medical director, it pulled back the curtain on the business of medicine, and I was really saddened by what I saw. Not only that, because of what I was doing there, I had to take care of the really tough people. So the people that were seriously mentally ill, under a court order, often they didn't want the medication. So it was just really, really hard work. And many of the medications that I was prescribing for people was making them overweight. They were developing high blood pressure, diabetes, so they were developing metabolic disease, and I didn't have anything that I could do to help them with that. So, exited the field, started looking for what is out there. There's gotta be something out there, and it turns out there is. Mm-hmm. And that's when I met Isa as well. So I was going to these integrative conferences, and they were all talking about the same thing. Everything was linking back down to oxidative stress, free radical damage, inflammation, this being the things that makes our cells not work very well. It doesn't matter where you put it in the body, makes those areas not work very well, and then we develop disease. And we call it things. We call it depression. We call it heart disease. We call it cognitive dysfunction. So what I was learning in all of those integrative conferences was you put them on a certain diet, you give them certain supplements, and then you do other things as well, of course, lifestyle modifications, so on and so forth. But I felt like something was missing because I was giving these things to people, and some people were actually getting better, but some of them really weren't, and I thought, what am I missing? And then in walks Isa into my life, and she introduced to me Protandim. And I really perked up because she was speaking in the language that I was learning in at the time. And after we met, I pulled up PubMed because she said this has been studied. I thought, really? So I pulled up PubMed, and there it was, and I thought, wow, this is pretty amazing. So I, of course, got myself on it, I got my family on it, and I will be on it for the rest of my life, obviously. Now, since then, I've had a couple of different iterations in my career. I was working in recovery, addiction and recovery for a while. I've since then moved on to be at the Amen Clinic, where we do brain SPECT imaging on people. So we look at the brain to understand what's happening that's causing the problems that they are experiencing. And one of the things that we can identify on a brain SPECT image is inflammation. So we can see the end product of the things that we are talking about here today. And so this has been a very long, very winded sort of a path to get to this point today. But now what I recognize, and bringing in the other integrative kinds of ways of doing medicine that I've learned, is that if we don't have our body in a good place as far as oxidative stress goes, then we're constantly on a treadmill trying to improve things. So people go over and over again to their doctor, to their psychiatrist, and it's a treadmill. Mm-hmm. I was just talking to someone about this today, actually. She's a PhD, a psychologist here in town. And we were speaking about the kind of treadmill that ends up happening to so many people when they have issues like anxiety and depression. And it's because, unfortunately, we do have this system that doesn't look at the root cause. And so what I like so much about this is root cause.
Absolutely.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Doug. Thank you, Lisa. Wow. So, collagen. Let's just touch on this a little bit, and then we're going to bring Jake Hines up. But collagen, what Dr. Doug mentioned is this is an activator, and the activator in that is red ruby quinoa. It's plant-based. We have 10 different marine peptides in it, which is a lot, and then the antioxidant support, the citrus and berry extract. If you have taken a collagen and you have been disillusioned with the results, I encourage you, or just listen to the statistics here. So the collagen by itself, the 8-week study showed a 42% increase in collagen density in just 8 weeks. That's huge. There's no other product on the market that does that. And this is a Vizia camera that we use in skincare that shows that density. But what was really interesting were the people coming back in our first initial study on this that were on Protandim as well. So we're getting the cells clean, and then they're activating collagen. And talking about, I'm feeling better, I'm sleeping better, my workouts are better. I don't know if that's what it is, but I'm noticing a lot of differences, gut health, all of that. And so the company went back and did studies on the combination. And what we saw was remarkable. It influenced over 13,000 different genes in the body, and it increased collagen density 100% in 8 weeks when combined. So these are just some photos before and afters of what activation looks like. And I just love to say, when you see results like this on the outside, you can only imagine what's happening on the inside. What we see externally is just a reflection of our cellular health. So pretty remarkable. We've got, what's that?
His lines inside his body.
Yes. There you go, Janet. And so we have so many photos here that we could share with you at another time as well. But suffice to say that when you're, and I do skin, so when you are, when you're increasing collagen density 100% like that, you're going to see a lot of tightening. It just tightens things up. People are feeling better as well, which is what's most important. So we talked about peptides. We can actually activate our peptides in the gut. We can activate with our P84. This is a microbiome support. We activate 14 key peptides. This is huge. And this is a newer product to our product line, but we will give you more information on that as you wish. It's amazing. It's become one of my favorites. And then Axio. If you haven't had some Axio yet, please make your way in there afterwards and get some. So this is for sharper focus, for mental clarity, for brain power, right? So a lot of times around 2 o'clock in the afternoon when we start reaching for a coffee, an afternoon coffee, or maybe it's chocolate, maybe it's just some kind of sugar, you think you're hungry, you're looking for something to stimulate you, right? Mm-hmm. And it's your brain is tired, your body might not be physically tired, but what we're doing is increasing that, helping to support a positive mood and resilience to stress, which is huge. One of our favorite products. We also have an activated hair and skincare line based on the same NRF2 technology, which we can share more about. And then we have Pet Tandem for dogs. And we always have to add that in because it's one of my favorite products. For $26, people love their dogs, right? And when your dog, you notice it aging and it can't jump up on the couch or anything because of its hips, they have 7 times the level of oxidative stress that we do. So it's powerful. It's a chewable. And Prescott Animal Hospital, interestingly enough, was part of a double-blind placebo study with an animal hospital in Colorado. And the results, they could tell which dogs were activated on the NRF2 before the study was even over. So it's amazing. So that is our full line of products, our company, that our company has. And I'd like to take this off of here right now and invite Jake Hines up. So Jake, we're so blessed to have Jake here today. He drove up from Phoenix. He has been in Phoenix with his son, who is really, really talented in baseball. And when he knew he was going to be in Arizona, he said, let's do something, And so it's such a pleasure to have him here. He's part of our corporate staff. He's the vice president of sales over the U.S., Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. And Jake, come on up. I'm so excited to hear from you.
I don't really feel like I should say a lot more after Dr. Lisa and Dr. Doug. They pretty much said everything, right? That was powerful. I will tell you what excites me so much about being a part of this company is exactly what we heard from those two. That I can, in the highest confidence, stand in front of a room and say what we have at this company is truly unique. Nobody else has it. And I remember one of the first meetings I ever did was in Australia. And one of our doctors, that's a consultant, Dr. Skip Campbell, had never heard him speak before. And he said, when I looked at LifeVantage and I looked at Protandim and I did my research, what I realized was that if what they were saying about this product really was true, every single person on the face of the earth should be putting it in their body. And we believe that to this day. And what's exciting for me is while we have an incredible product portfolio, what you're going to find is we're taking it back to the inception, back to Protandim, back to that little yellow pill. That it starts with yellow, because I know for sure not every single person on the face of the earth is taking Protandim. And we need to get it out there more. And I love that Isa shared the story about that primetime, and we showed that video. That was a big paradigm shift for me when I first joined LifeVantage, because I was very, very familiar with and aware of the power of that video. That video literally was the single most powerful tool that took this company to $200 million. Here was the paradigm shift for me. Is, as we talked about, that aired in 2005. And there was this initial massive wave of orders, and then it sat on the shelves at GNC. They couldn't sell it. And so it wasn't until 2009 that the decision was made to launch this product into this channel of direct sales. And from 2009 to 2011, the company went to $200 million. And I always say, what was the difference? Because that same video aired in 2005, the difference was people like you. That that story needed to be told. And it wasn't being told by the person sitting behind the counter at GNC, right? Typical consumer, which I believe I am, especially when it comes to supplements and things. I see antioxidants, I look at the one that's probably got the coolest package and the most reasonably priced, and that's the one I'm going to get, right? And that's the average consumer. This product needed to have its story told, to talk about why it's different. And so that's the difference. That's why this channel is so powerful and why we're so committed to it. The other thing that I will say that's kind of cool, and I really, this clicked for me about 6 months ago, that when you look at what we call our hero products, so our hero products are Protandim, our collagen, our mind-body system, and our P84, which are our gut health. And then we have a lot of other supportive products that are amazing. But when you look at those other hero products like collagen, what do we do as a company? We said collagen's amazing. It helps your body produce its own collagen, but you know how you make it better? You add Protandim to it. And so we created the Healthy Glow Stack. When we launched P84, which is gut health, what did we do? We said, it's an amazing product, but you know how you make it better? You add Protandim NRF2 to it. Same thing for our mind-body system. It starts with that little yellow pill. And so what I love about what I get to do is, when I take every opportunity I can to get into meetings like this, because we have such a cool, fun family culture here. And I don't know about you guys, but life tends to life you, and not many of us are in environments that are as positive and as encouraging and as forward-thinking and hopeful as what you get to experience when you come to a place like this and a meeting like this. And our role at corporate really is to provide very much the support and making sure that the products ship on time, to make sure that we support our consultants in paying commissions on time. We get to do really fun, cool stuff like trips. I don't know if any of you know, but we just announced a brand new trip incentive that kicked off in July. Have you guys seen? Do you know where we're going yet?
Yeah,
Is it okay if I run the surprise?
Telegram group.
Huh?
Only
a few of you. So we just announced a trip that you can earn to go to Cancun. Okay, and so you earn that trip with us. You don't have to pay for anything. We take care of everything. We love to do that. We have a whole group that's headed to Whistler next week, Whistler, Canada. Yeah, tomorrow. Leaving. Yeah, that's right. A lot of people leaving tomorrow. Okay, again, all on us. So we provide that support, but also we're very committed to continuing innovation and continuing to develop products that really fall in line with the research and everything that has been behind Protandim, collagen, all the products that we introduce. And so you can have the highest level of confidence that integrity and that efficacy is going to be there all the way through. And again, I don't need to say it. You had 2 doctors that have said it to you, right? And we always talk about our products aren't on trial. And when it comes to being a consultant, when it comes to being a business owner, I don't know of anything more powerful than having something at your disposal that nobody else in the world has. that has the third-party research and validation behind it that nobody else has. And so the reason that this model is so powerful is because we cut out all the middle people, right? In a traditional retail or a traditional sales environment, you've got distributors, you've got marketing, you got all of that. We cut that out and we partner with you for you to go do something that you do every single day of your life, right? And then share your opinion about something. We all share our opinions. Seen a movie lately that you didn't like or that you liked? I love telling the story. I'm not a big barbecue person, but we had a Dickey's barbecue come into town. And I'm like, well, let's go try it. And we went. And I actually really liked it. And for weeks, I told people, I'm not a big barbecue guy, but this place is freaking awesome. You got to go check it out. And you know what? I know a bunch of them went. And for the life of me, not one time when I went to get the mail was there a white envelope with that pig on it with a check or at least a voucher for a free meal, right? Not one time. And so, but it's really what we do. It's the partnership that we take care of all the operational and logistical and commission and stuff, and you do what you do so powerfully, which is share your opinion, share your experiences, share what the products, what the business, what the community has done for you. And in exchange, we actually do send you, well, it's usually electronic. It's not an actual paper check. Unless you're Amish, we have an incredible Amish community that still get the paper checks and go to the bank and deposit them, which is kind of fun. But it really is a very, very powerful partnership. And so we're really taking this back to where it all began. Because again, it is our differentiator. Nobody else has what we have. And so my encouragement to you is join us. We need more people sharing this story. We need more people sharing this product with people. I have a father who will turn 80 in August, and he's got Parkinson's. And you really, I can't remember who was saying before, but
Dr. Doug?
Probably. But in regards to, turning 80 and like wishing that my dad had this problem. Now, do I know if it would have prevented? I don't know that. But what I do know is he would have been in a much better place than what we're having to experience now. Now, I will tell you, he takes it every day, twice a day. And the glutathione has been very impactful for him with this. And if any of you know Parkinson's, you have really good days and you can have really, really bad days. And what we've noticed is that those bad days are much fewer and far between since we started this regimen with him. And so I'm incredibly grateful for that. But we need more people sharing this. And we need more people a part of our community. I'm going to tell you, had I been in there and I would have known there had been a meeting going on, I would have come. But I can promise you I sought these guys out. And the reason that I sought them out was because of what's happening. There is something incredibly special that's happening here with the individuals that are joining this team. And it's not by accident, because Isa, Marisa, incredible leaders that have been with our company, have really been the flag bearers for Protandim and for this company for a very, very, very long time. But I was more than happy to drive whatever it was, the 2 hours here, because of what's happening here. It's a massive movement, and I thank you guys. I thank you for believing in it and seeing it. It's a significant thing, and so we would just love this to continue to grow and have you join us in partnership, because again, everybody on the face of the earth needs Protandim in their body. Okay, yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Well, we'll just wrap it up here in a moment here. Jake just spoke to a lot of this, everyone. The company, you've heard today, our company story, our product story, the timing, all of that. We can explain more to you on the business side of it if that interests you. We are in 26 countries, 27 now, right, Jake? We just launched, our latest launch was Portugal in May. So this is exciting. If you're listening to this and you're even thinking of people that you know that aren't here or live in other countries, we can share it there. So I'm going to just close with, just take the information that you heard today and decide where you fit in. Maybe you want to be a customer, you want to experience the products. Maybe you are sitting here thinking, I need to share this with like 5 different people, and we can show you what that looks like. But we are having a lot of fun doing it, and being a product user, I can guarantee you that you will, you'll feel better, and we are having so much fun, like Jake just said. So we say we have fun, make money, and make a difference. I'm not speaking to all of these slides, everybody, because I'd rather just connect with you. But I would like to just call up Marisa. Do you mind, Marisa?
Oh, sure.
Would love to have Marisa come up just briefly. Marisa, I've been a part of LifeVantage for 10 years, everybody. August is my 10-year anniversary. Yeah, so it's been the greatest blessing. This isn't a trend that you're hearing about tonight. This is real. This is a legitimate business, and we're having so much fun just blessing people. Marisa came into my skincare shop for a brow wax, and she introduced me to this. And, she was laying on my table, and she said, have you heard of NRF2 activation? And I thought, no, but I considered myself very well versed in what was out there for health. And I hadn't heard of it, and it wasn't my time. And I will just share that I was a very frustrated business owner. My husband David's over there. We had 2 locations here. We had a location here and in Prescott, and my brick and mortar was what I thought was my leverage of the skincare lines and the makeup brands that I carried. I started to realize that they weren't my leverage when Ulta opened up in Prescott Valley, right? Mm-hmm. And I started to think, well, what is this, And so I looked to sell the business. We sold our Flagstaff location. I was trying to sell my Prescott location when I met Marisa. And I took this information, everyone, and I put it in my back pocket, in the back of my mind. And I'm telling you, don't do what I did. I waited 4 years until I had sold my businesses. I was an older mom. Scarlett I became a mom at 42. And I started doing wellness retreats after I sold the business. And it was in Costa Rica, 4 years after Marisa introduced me to LifeVantage, that I'm doing a retreat in Costa Rica, and a guest on my retreat was sharing LifeVantage with other guests. And I just listened, and I thought, is this what that woman, Marisa, was trying to tell me? And I reached out to her on Facebook Messenger, and I said, is this what you were sharing with me?
At 10 p.m.
At 10 p.m., yeah.
I was in bed.
She said yes, and I said, I decided right then, before I even put Protandim in my body, that this was the business for me, because I thought, my gosh, I'm halfway across the world. This is something I can do and really wrap my head around and build something that has a lot of meaning to me. So, Marisa?
And we met, I gave you a bottle of Protandim at our meeting. She was going through some health things. And I know we can't say Protandim cures, treats, or mitigates, but what you had going on.
It was significant, and I had a very dramatic change in my body in 9 days.
Wow.
Yeah, I did. And and so I was sold, and I'm happy to share that with anyone privately. But that was when I thought, oh my gosh, I already decided on the business, and now the product is just so amazing. But I'm so grateful to Marisa every day. It's changed my life. It's changed my husband's, my daughter's life, this business. It's allowed us to do things that we haven't been able to do, wouldn't have been able to do, and to partner with fantastic people, like some of the people that you've heard from today. So.
Thank you, Isa, for saying yes 4 years later.
Don't do what I did.
Right? This tells you the fortune is in the follow-up, meaning we have something so important that people need to know. It's not about my time. It's about her time. I planted a seed, and I knew somebody like her needed to know this, because I could see she was into holistic aesthetics, and I'm like, you'll need to know about this. So it just was her time, when it was her time. So I've never done network marketing. I'm a former TV news reporter and anchor. I worked in that industry almost 20 years. Today I teach yoga, breathwork, meditation, and all things LifeVantage. I am living a dream life. I say thank you to Carrie Williams, my 5:30 a.m. yoga student on a Monday, who actually was the person who introduced this to me. And as I was getting ready to join under her, and I knew nothing about network marketing, I saw the ABC News report, and I was like, whoa. I saw the earnings income disclosure, which I would highly recommend you, if you're interested in the business part, take a look at it and see what resonates with you, and we can map out a way for you to possibly achieve that. I'm not anything special. I had a burning desire to change my family's life. My kids were 10 and 12 at the time. We had gone from 2 incomes to 1. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I left television news when I had my first child. I went back into it a little bit, and it was really difficult. And also I didn't like the news anymore. So I create my own good news channel right now. So I love my news in my world. I actually just came back from Europe last night, and there was no way I was going to miss coming up here to support Isa and Debbie and Doug and Nancy and Larry, sorry.
And Serene.
Okay. And Isa. I mean, so this is what we do. I love what I do. I love what we have with LifeVantage, and it truly has been surprisingly the most beautiful personal growth and development business. I feel like I've gotten a PhD in Life University on how to be a good human, how to be a better human, by really listening to people and where they're at in their life and how you can offer opportunities for better health. You know, I have a dear friend on this Zoom right now who I adore, and she's been a customer for a couple of months, 3 months. And while I was in Europe, she messaged me because a friend of hers was interested in LifeVantage. And then I said, well, Sandy, why don't you join the business? And so 9 hours I was ahead, she was behind. I'm like, okay, I'm calling her. And so I called her, and so I just met her where she's at. I just gave her a vision that, you know, if you're sharing this with people, then why don't you benefit from this? And I love this business model because we are only as successful as the people we help be successful. And I had a burning desire to change my life, and Carrie Williams and Maria Williams, God rest her soul, took me under their wings and showed me how to do this. And it's not rocket science. You just get out of your head and into your heart, and you share what we have and let people decide for themselves. Sometimes you have to give them vision of what is possible, and it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. We're making a big difference in the world. There's earnings income that is insane, can be, or you may just want to pay for your products. It's whatever you want. We'll show you the path that it would take for you to achieve what that is. Maybe it's $300 a month to pay for products. Maybe it's $3,000 a month. What would that do for families? What would $5,000 or $10,000? Like literally, when Carrie showed me that earnings income disclosure, and it was $10,000 a month for the first level of executive leadership, it was a 6-figure leveraged income, meaning income that works for you while you sleep, because these are consumable products. Right? People order them monthly. We have a very high retention rate. What is it, like 75%? What is it?
Yeah.
About 75%. So people like these products. So anyway, it's the sky is the limit. Limitless possibilities. I achieved the executive rank in 5 years. A year later, another level. It wasn't me though. It was because Isa was doing things and being successful. And, you know, other people that I have on my team, Dr. Sveta Silverman up in Canada. I knew no one in Canada. But I will say one thing. If you hold back and you don't share, the answer is surely no. So I met Dr. Silverman. I'm just going to give you an example here, and then I'll wrap up. She was we'll see, I've been in LifeVantage 14 years. 13 years, I was pretty much brand new, less than a year into this business. And she came to my yoga classes. I wouldn't see her very often, but once in a while I would see her. She was very shy. Sveta, you would never know that today. She is an introvert, and she's quirky, and I love her so much. And literally, she told me she had to go back to Canada the next day to go to work. And I said, oh, what do you do? And she said, I'm a physician. And I said, what kind of physician? She has that Russian accent. And she said, I'm a surgical pathologist, breast cancer. I primarily diagnose breast cancers, but she diagnoses all cancers. So I said, oh, oxidative stress. She goes, yes. You know, can you hear her? And I go, oh God, Marisa, what do you do? What do you do? What do you say, right? I was scared. I was scared because she's a doctor. But I knew more about nerve 2 activation than she did. So I said, what if you knew of something that was natural and scientifically proven that could reduce that oxidative stress? Because she knew it was the #1 cause of cancer. She said, well, I teach nutrition and I like to know what's out there. And I'm like, well, there's a meeting tonight and there's a cardiologist that's going to be talking. It's in Scottsdale, right around the corner from the yoga studio. Would you like to come? She wasn't committing, but I gave her the address, and I find how terrible she is with directions, but she did make it. She came, and she joined the next day. And that was the beginning of a wonderful sisterhood with this woman who has made a huge impact on everybody's life in LifeVantage, not just me and my team. She has helped so many people, and she's spoken at 2 international NRF2 symposiums. I'll never forget that call from her. The more I know about nerve 2 activation, the less I know about medicine. So you don't have to have doctors in your business. You just have to have people with a burning desire to help other people. It's fun to get the doctors, but we don't have to have the doctors, right? But we really are blessed to have you. But I just want people to think that they can do this business. They don't have to have a doctor. It's wonderful to get the doctors, trust me. But it's also, many of them are struggling to survive in what they're doing, right? And you're looking for people that are just open, for better health. 90% of our business is customer-based. 90%. We love our customers. We are a customer-driven opportunity company. It's the few of us that see the business, the entrepreneurs. Like, who do you know? And maybe if it's not you, who do you know that you can refer to somebody? Because we need voices. This world needs to be healthier. And we need people to be healthier. Okay? Thank you so much.
Yeah, please don't leave right away. If you want, please have some more food. If anyone has any questions, we're here to answer questions for you. But we're so happy that you came. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Are we going to watch the...
Yeah. I think we'll take a little break, right?
All right, we're going to take a little break and pause the recording.